Shh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Scream Sanctuary. This is like my millionth take of trying to do this video. This is going to be the very first movie review on this channel. Unlisted Owner is what I'm going to be talking about today. So, before I start this off, a very special thank you to Jeb Bryan for contacting me to do a review of his movie. He was very accommodating in getting me this movie for free. For those of you who do enjoy what I'm talking about and are intrigued and want to go watch it, it is free to Amazon Prime members. So you can literally go watch it right now on Amazon Prime Video. Not my favorite service ever, but it works. So before I get into, I guess, my critiques of the movie, well, I'm going to be critiquing the movie, I guess, throughout, but for good reason because everything kind of flows together when I do reviews, I guess. Before I get into it, I'll read a little synopsis on what the plot is about. So, the film takes place in a small Illinois community in the fictional Lawford County that has been shaken to the core by the murders of a Roth family who has recently purchased a house with a dark history unaware to many. A radio broadcast of the deaths is heard by a group of friends: Gavin Landers, Griffin Potts, Tyler Bryan, Jed Groves, Rhea Mills, Haiti Summers, and Haiti Summers, who realize the murders are only a mile away from where they were going camping this weekend. Since the campsite is so close to the murder scene, the group of friends decide to go back and investigate themselves, leading to an eventful night that they can only hope they survive. So that was from their Wikipedia page. Um, Overall, I will say right off the bat, this is a solid movie. I think you have to consider this is a low budget film. This is Jeb's, who I'm assuming this is his first movie. Um, this is a solid movie when you take those two things into consideration: budget and the fact that this is a starter film. That being said, it is solid for a starter film. A lot of films that I've watched, they don't have any kind of plot to them. This one, I wish the movie would have been longer. This is one of the things, is I wish the movie would have been longer because there are questions that I feel, especially surrounding the killer, that could have been fleshed out. I wish there would have been a little bit more background to the killer, something with his backstory maybe, but I do understand that with budget, some things need to be condensed because of time constraints and stuff like that. So that's completely understandable. I do hope there will eventually maybe be an Unlisted Owner Part 2 of some sort for that reason, to give some backstory. This is definitely a movie though, and I said this last night. This is a movie where unless you're seasoned to watch stuff like this, you probably won't enjoy it. I don't think many people are would go find this movie on their own that don't already watch horror religiously, or like run a channel like this where they need to be open-minded when going into things like this for the sake of reviews. But other than that, I did find the movie enjoyable. um the characters were kind of at times. I feel like the two main guys, I believe it's Gavin and Tyler, they play like the douchebag friends that are drunk all the time and like just want to party. Their scripts, I feel like at times could be very, very overwhelming. Um, and that's the thing, is I understand character building, and you're not supposed to like these two guys, but at times it's just like, okay, like get on with it. It was kind of over the whole them being drunk and like trying to get everybody to party like halfway through the movie. And that part kind of sucked because a big chunk of the movie is the first to second half, and all of the shit goes down in like the third half of the movie when they finally enter the house. Another thing too that I really wasn't crazy about the characters was scripting, which again, low budget. I'm not expecting to see like Brad Pitt in something like this, so that's another thing that's more forgivable forgivable, especially if this movie, Jeb literally took all of his friends and was like, hey, let's make a movie. Like, that's super cool. Although I did feel like some of the dialogue was a little forced. The way lines were delivered just didn't seem natural at times, and it kind of threw me. I ended up getting used to it, but in the beginning of the movie, it was something that I noticed, like, right off the bat. From the very first scene where the guys are loading up the car to go on the camping trip, I noticed it right away. Some of the body language, too, I felt like kind of enforced that the dialogue was forced, because I feel like maybe these people weren't used to being behind a camera, so they didn't really know how to act. But again, that kind of sorted itself out towards the end. Towards the end, it really wasn't even that noticeable, and I don't know if that's because at that point you're just paying attention to the house and, like, where the killer is and, like, when he's going to show up, so you don't pay attention to the characters as much. But eventually throughout the movie, I do feel like I did get used to that aspect of the script and the way things were worded and the way things were being said. For a found footage film, I was super excited to see that it was a found footage film. So, again, I congratulate you on pulling that off, because even though found footage is easy to make for a starter film, again, that's another thing that's forgivable when it comes to low budget, is taking it in a direction of found footage, because literally you can do pretty much anything with found footage. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. Another thing, again, the story was solid for what it was. I just wish there would have been more. I wish it would have been fleshed out. This is your typical slasher, though. It's a group of friends that get together, let's go exploring, and then everybody winds up dead. But I feel like the killer definitely put a fresh spin on it, for sure. The killer itself, like I said, the sickle was great. That was something that I haven't seen a whole lot before, if I don't think at all in the movies that I've watched. I'm sure there's a movie out there that's done it before, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. So I do congratulate Jeb Ryan for the sickle and the being creative in that regard with the killer. What else? Another thing that I guess was kind of laughable towards the end, in the house, there's a symbol, which I'll insert on screen here. There's a symbol that shows up inside the house that looks suspiciously like the Blair Witch symbol. And I was able to point it out right away. I made the joke, like, what is this Blair Witch? But it was definitely something to be seen, and with it being a found footage, obviously one of the most well-known found footage movies is the Blair Witch Project, which is a great movie for what it is. They did found footage, I think, the best out of what I've seen. I think a lot of people will agree with that statement, is Blair Witch is one of the best found footage movies. Scared the absolute shit out of me when I was little. Yeah, overall, I think I'd probably give this movie a 7 out of 10. This is, I guess, for my last little note here, this is a movie where you have to go into it and kind of be a seasoned horror film fanatic, or I don't think you will enjoy this movie. You have to take a lot of things into consideration. You can't treat this movie the same way as you would a AAA box office movie, for the simple fact that it's not. You're not going to get the same thing that you get out of one of those movies that you go to the theater for example. You're not going to get, like, these great actors that at times, at all times are going to be able to deliver lines correctly, or, who are going to know how to act, because clearly there are discrepancies in that, and some people might see past that. It was something that definitely stood out to me, and that's not a bad thing. Not everybody might pick up on that. It was something that I picked up on, because I do pay attention to story writing. I do like the cinematography. Phantom said this yesterday too. The cinematography saved this movie in some ways. I will say the glitch effects and stuff like that, kind of cheesy at times, That was something that he said, and I was like, yeah, that kind of could have been left out, but they were well done. There were like hidden secrets within those. So overall, I feel like Jeb did a solid job on this for what I assume to be his debut starter movie. This was this was definitely a solid movie, and I totally recommend it. So, once again, thank you, Jeb, for allowing me to review this, and again for being super accommodating. I hope to definitely see what you do in the future. I hope possibly an unlisted owner too, but if not, I'm excited to see where you go with this because I think you definitely have potential here with your story writing. All right, so I believe that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let Phantom out of the basement. Um, and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to watch this movie if you do like it. I will have links below. Bye, guys.